Hello, very good morning and a warm welcome for today's class. Dear friends, just let me tell you a little bit about the subject. And we are going to start with economics, a very interesting paper. And actually, economics is a subject which we need in our daily lives. It happens every day, even in our personal lives, professional lives, and everywhere. So this subject is going to be very interesting for you all. So let us start with the subject. I'll just brief you with the subject, and then we are going to go into a little bit deeper into the subject part. Okay, friends, before I go into the subject, just I would like to know, suppose we all are having spending habits, okay? And as students, now you are not earning anything, but still you are spending little bit on your essentials, like when you go outside, you have to spend on food, you have to spend on your shopping and everything. And for that, you are getting your pocket money. Yes or no? So you are getting your pocket money from your, who is giving? Your parents are giving. Yes or no? So when you are, suppose, say for example, suppose my pocket money is 1000 rupees only. Is it clear? So just I am trying to make you little bit more comfortable so that you will be understanding that what exactly is economics all about. So I am saying you that you are having only 1000 rupees you are getting from your parents to spend for the entire month. Now 1000 rupees is not a very big amount, nor it is a very small amount. So you have to decide, like 1000 rupees, how am I going to spend the entire month? Suppose you are going to your college, or you are going to the educational institution. So how am I going to spend this 1000 rupees in the entire month? Now suppose you say that 500 rupees I am spending for my food. Another 200 rupees, 500 rupees is for food. Suppose you are taking the services of the canteen, suppose you are taking food outside, or you are loitering with your friends, then you are spending 500 rupees for food, 200 you are spending on your vehicle, okay, and another 300 you are spending in a miscellaneous way. But still, if this 1000 rupees sometimes won't be sufficient for you. Yes or no? Because you find that your needs are little bit increasing. You want more than 1000 rupees. Maybe your requirement for, say for example, next month your requirement is 2000 rupees, not 1000 rupees. Why? Because your needs are increasing or your wants are increasing. Okay? So we have only 1000 rupees, you are given only 1000 rupees, but your requirement is 2000 rupees. But still then sometimes you have to manage your entire requirement within that 1000 rupees. So how you are going to do that? That is a big question. Are you getting my point? Okay. For example, let me give my example. Suppose I am drawing 50,000 salary from my college. Okay. If I am drawing 50,000 salary, I have to plan that within this 50,000 rupees, how am I going to spend and where I am going to spend, so that the entire month is going to be smooth for me. Because 50,000 rupees is a sizable amount. Sizable means it is an amount which can be expended in the most appropriate manner. Now sometimes it happens that I need 60,000, or I need 70,000, or my requirement may be 1 lakh. But still then I cannot expend more than 50, because see, 50,000 is my only resource which I can spend. This is the only amount which I am getting from my salary. So I have to very tactfully understand and deal that how to spend this 50,000, where to spend, so that I will be not running short of money. Are you getting my point? Similarly, when I am talking about your pocket money as 1000 rupees only, maybe 1000 rupees is a very small amount, because if you see the cost of different products, essentials which are there in the market, it is growing day by day. So 1000 is nothing. Okay. But still you have to manage your entire expenses within that 1000 in a particular month. So there lies the difficulty in what? Taking a decision that where to spend. Similarly, I am giving my example. Suppose 50,000 is my salary. I have to decide that where to spend this 50,000. And I have to spend that 50,000 only on my priority essentials. Priority means which is at the hit list or top list where I have to essentially spend. For example, take for example house rent. Take for example, I have to pay for the grocery. I have to pay for the school fees. Okay. And I have to pay for the other essentials. After that, if any amount of money is left, then only I can spend on myself or I can go for a shopping. Are you getting my point? So, economics is a subject which helps you to take a decision how to spend your money in the more logical, practical and strategic way. Are you getting my point? So, economics is a very interesting subject because in the entire world, the resources are very scarce. Resources means maybe money, maybe land, maybe minerals. They are very less or scarce. But we have to utilize them in such a way so that each person is satisfied. And as you all know, human psychology, there is a very common saying that human wants are unlimited. You must have heard this word. Okay, human wants are unlimited. Actually, the concept of economics, what we are talking about or what we will be discussing, has given rise, or the word economics has come into being because of this particular word, that is wants. See, human wants, like I am saying, I'll give another example. For example, I have a very good bicycle with me where the cost is only 5,000 rupees. Is it clear? Now till class 10, suppose my son or my daughter is having a bicycle, okay, she is managing with that bicycle till class 10. But after class 10, when she is about to go to a college or move to a different city, she needs a better vehicle. Maybe say for example a bike or a scooty or something. So looking at the necessity, I buy for her a scooty which is from 5,000, now the scooty cost is 20,000. Is it clear? So she is now comfortable with her scooty and going to the college, coming to and fro, and she is happy. But after 2 years, she feels that scooty is not the appropriate vehicle. So she needs a better vehicle. So you see, our wants are always multiple. We are never satisfied. This human psychology states that we are never satisfied with our wants. Our wants are always increasing. If one want is satisfied, then immediately the second want arises and we want to satisfy that want. And again that want is satisfied, we are going for third. Like if you have before you some food, suppose you are having a delicious food and you have it, you are happy. But next moment again you want to have a food which is more delicious than that. So our wants are increasing day by day. And we are striving to satisfy those wants. So the entire topic of economics or the entire study of economic revolves around this human wants. Human wants are unlimited, but economics is a subject which helps us to understand how to satisfy these wants with limited. Please remember, resources are very limited, but wants are unlimited. Demand is very high, but the supply end is very less. So we have to accommodate ourselves with that limited resources because we want to satisfy our want. As I told you, my salary may be 50,000, but I am thinking that let me get a vehicle, four-wheeler, so that my transport going from my home to my college will be much more easier. Suppose I buy a car. Say for example, I am going to buy a car which is around 10 lakh rupees. So I am now giving down payment 2 lakhs, but another 8 lakhs I have to give in installment. So from my 50,000, another 20,000 is diverted towards the loan. So how much is left now? Only 30,000. So I have to now think that with this remaining 30,000 rupees, how am I going to spend the entire month on my essentials? Is it clear? So for that I have to make a very wise decision, or I have to make a very logic decision that where to spend, how to spend. Because for me car is also important. Suppose I want a car, I have to sacrifice or I have to cut off my some expenses. Suppose I am very fond of shopping and every month I go for 5,000, 10,000 shopping. So I have to curb or I have to deduct those shoppings because now I am looking for a car. So I have to make the payment. I have to repay the loans. No doubt I have given 2 lakhs, but what about the installment cost? So I have to cut my expenses, other expenses, so that I have a comfortable life. How comfortable? Because I am hiring a car and I want to go to and fro with the help of a car. Is it clear? So one question comes to your mind, that it comes to everybody's mind, that why we are going to study economics? Why economics? Because we have other subjects also, like you have management subjects, you have general subjects. So why economics is such an important subject, and what we are going to learn from it, how it will be benefit to us. So let us first discuss that part, then we'll go to the concepts. So I hope that this example is quite clear to you, that remember that the study or the concept of economics has come from the word wants. Okay, wants are unlimited, but we have to satisfy those wants. And how we are going to satisfy? We are going to satisfy the wants with the available resources. And those available resources are very scarce. Scarce means they are very less. They are not plentifully available. Scarce means which is not plentifully available. They are very less. As I told you, demand is increasing day by day, but the supply side is less. Now the question is how to satisfy. So there is actually, here lies the actual challenge, even for the government, even for the institutions, and even for the companies who are operating in the market. They have the challenge that how to satisfy. Now let me give you another example. We have a number of MNCs, private companies, which are operating in the market. Now each company is trying its best to survive in the market. Now how they will survive? There is a very tough competition. Please remember, today we are talking about a global economy, a global market where everybody is free to have the business transaction and activities. And every now and then you find that a new company is in the market. You take for example your mobiles. How many mobile companies are there in the market? Every day there is a new set coming out, some with new applications, some new model. Okay, so how the company is going to survive when it is having a tough competition with other companies? So here one point lies, that which company is able to give the best to its customers. The company who is able to satisfy the customers is actually going to survive in the market, otherwise not. Therefore, you know, in economics we say, or in general management also say that, we say that customer is the king. Now who is the customer? And why customer is called the king? Customer is people like you and me, who are buying the products and using the products. If we are using the products, we are called as consumers. So please remember these two words, because we will be very often coming across these two words, that is customer and consumer. Customer is a person who buys the product from the market, and consumer is who uses the product. Now after using the product, if you are highly satisfied, now what will happen? Next time also you are going to use the same product. So in this way, the company is going to have a good customer base in the market, and that company will only survive in the market who is able to satisfy the customer. Did you get my point? So I told you resources are very less, demand is very high, but the lookout here is how to satisfy the customers and how to sustain in the market. So when we'll be talking about the subject economics, we'll be talking about that how this can be done in the most possible and best way. I hope this is clear. Okay, so let us now move further. Now as I was saying that there are many concepts of economics, but I thought of explaining you the concept of economics by citing an example about your pocket money, like you are getting 1,000 as your pocket money, and how you are going to expend or how you are going to utilize that 1,000 on your essentials, so that entire month you are going to manage. Similarly, if I am getting 50,000 as my salary, how am I going to spend that 50,000 in such a way so that I don't have to borrow? See, remember that we have to survive in that amount. That is limited. My 50,000 is limited amount. Okay. Now I need not borrow from anyone, nor I have to run short of money. So I have to make a decision that this 50,000 how I am going to utilize, where to utilize, and which are my priorities so that I can spend on those priorities. And I am not going to spend on other unessential things. Let's suppose, for example, I already have a refrigerator at my home. I need not buy any second one. Suppose I already have a vehicle. Suppose I have a bike. I need not go for another scooty or another. Okay, so I have to cut down those unnecessary expenses so that with this 50,000 only, I am going to adjust my entire month. Okay, so in economics exactly we are going to study like concepts of market. We are going to study concepts of banking, concepts of money, concept of wealth, and how this market and how the market is divided into different types and how the economy actually works in this market. So our entire paper is divided into the discussion, like I'll tell you the topics like what is economics, then why we are going to study economics, then what is macroeconomics, okay, then what is the concept of demand and supply. As I told you that we know the demand is very high but supply end is very less, so we have to meet both the ends using the available resources. Please remember, resources are scarce and whatever is available we are going to make the best use of those resources. And then we will be studying the concept of equilibrium, then concept of production, cost, banking and money. So these are some of the very essential topics which we would be covering in your this paper 1. And as you already know, it is a 50 marks paper which is divided into different parts, like you already know, and the question pattern has been given to you. So let us now move into the discussion of what is actually economics. Now, as I told you that the study of economics, actually economics, like all other sciences, economics is considered as a social science. Okay, so we have physical science, you must be knowing we have physical science, but economics is known as social science. Now the question arises, why economics is a social science? Now, we say economics is a social science because it deals with human being, it deals with the utilization of resources, and it deals with the day-to-day affairs and the business activity. So when the term economics comes, we can say the economics is also a science. Don't think economics is, we have a notion that economics is a subject which is not a part of science, or economics is a subject which is not considered as a technical subject. But that notion is wrong. We are actually, in today's world, if you don't know the subject economics, really you cannot do anything, because you are not even going to manage your own money. Means you think about big business activity, how they are managing with little resources and how they are doing their business. So when it comes to us, we have to manage our own individual money, like ourselves, of how I am going to manage my salary, how I am going to manage my house, how I am going to manage my expenses. So for that, the knowledge of economics is highly required. So economics is therefore known as the social science, where we are going to study the utilization of the scarce resources for optimum benefit. Optimum means maximum benefit. Is it clear? So it is a social science where we are going to study about how to utilize the scarce resources, okay, for optimum benefit. Optimum means maximum benefit. Is it clear? Scarce resources means very little, like resources are very little in the market, but we have to see how we can make use of. See, I will give you another example. Say for example, Odisha is a state which is rich, considered as very rich in minerals. You must be knowing that. And therefore many factories, industries have been set up in our particular state. Means the entire belt of Odisha is having rich mineral ores like iron, aluminium, zinc, oxide, and therefore people are interested to set up industries here. And we are very happy that our particular state is very rich in those resources. Now see, resources are already available, but how to make use of? Unless and unless we set up a factory or industry, we cannot make those resources available, or we cannot optimally use those resources. So different industries are set up. Once the industry is set up, who will get the benefit? No doubt the company is going to get the benefit, but the society is also benefited. Now how? So first of all, employment is generated. Many people are engaged. Suppose, say for example, near Barampur, a new industry comes up. A small plant comes up. And the requirement for employees is around 1,000 employees they need. Maybe some MBA students they need, maybe some engineering, or maybe some graduates. So imagine around 1,000 people are getting engaged or they are getting employment. So that is the biggest benefit to the society. First is employment generation is done. Then automatically the industry which has come up, it will go into the process of production, then it will go into the process and the final product will be out, and then finally the company is going to incur heavy profits. But leaving the profits aside, the society is also developing because of the upcoming of an industry. Yes or no? See, you must have heard the name of RSP, Rourkela Steel Plant, which is situated in the city of Rourkela. Now see, Rourkela as a city developed because of RSP only. RSP was developed way back, long back, with the help of some German investors, and is doing too good. And the entire city, if you have visited Rourkela, you will see the entire city is developed. It is so well planned with all facilities because of the plant only. People are getting employment. There is well developed township. All facilities are there. Education, entertainment, your health, everything. Now all this has taken place, or it is possible because of the upcoming of the plant. So similarly, when we are talking about the development of an industry or the development of a plant, suppose say nearby Barampur plant comes up or an industry, then we all are going to get the benefit. And automatically the nearby place is going to have a long run benefit, and it is going to develop its economical status. Okay. So say for example, suppose I am doing a job where as I told you, my salary is just 50,000 rupees. Suppose after 1 year I am jumping to another institution or another university where my salary is now 2 lakhs rupees. So have I developed or not? Definitely. My economical status has now developed. My financial status has now increased. So what I was thinking earlier of spending my entire thing within those 50,000 rupees, now I have a wider horizon. That is, I have now 2 lakhs rupees as my salary. So I am getting a better opportunity to spend my money. So all this is possible because of what? My increase in my salary. So and this how increase? Because I have changed my job. So similarly, when we are saying that we are talking about economics, we are saying that economics, you can say, is a social science which deals with, you have to remember 3 important words. Now the entire subject of economics or the entire concept of economics rests on 3 particular points. That is, one is known as production, okay, then distribution and consumption. So these are the 3 basic pillars, you can say these are the 3 basic pillars on which the entire concept of economics rests. One is the production part, second is the distribution part, and third is the consumption part. So I hope you must have got little bit idea of economics. So when we are, don't think economics means it is a very heavy subject. Okay, because the word sounds very heavy. Okay, the word itself sounds very heavy, and you feel that economics may be a very tough subject. How I am going to, and there are some statistical part also in this, but as such you have only theory part. So remember that when I am studying economics, I am actually trying to make a more logical. If you are understanding what is economics, you are able to make a more logical decision for yourself only. A more practical decision. Is it clear? As I told you how to spend your pocket money. Or how am I going to spend my 50,000 rupees salary, where, how, when, so that because every month I cannot borrow from my friends. Are you getting my point? Suppose this month I have some social functions. Okay, I have to gives for some social function. So maybe my this month requirement is 2 lakhs. So maybe this month I may borrow from my friend. Suppose I borrow from my friend another 1 lakh rupees because there is a need. But that does not mean that every month I am going to borrow from my friend. So I have to manage with that 50,000 rupees only. So you have to take a wise decision that how to spend and where to spend with this 50,000. So you just imagine how your mothers are managing the entire budget of the home, because your fathers are working, so they come and give handover to your mother that you manage the house with 20,000 only. They are managing. Suppose tomorrow they give 50,000 to your mother, still she will manage. Suppose your father gives 1 lakh, still she will manage. And she will never complain because they know how to manage. So rather we should learn economics from your parents, especially homemakers or mothers who are able to manage with 10 rupees also, 50 rupees also, even 100 rupees if you give, they will manage. Or if you don't give also, they will manage. Yes or no? So economics starts with our house, with our own home, where how we are managing things. But here we are discussing economic as a broader concept, like how to make the best use of money with available resources. But again, you have to remember resources are very scarce. That means very less. Okay. So as I told you, the word economics is like rests on 3 particular concepts. That is, one is your production, then is your distribution, and third is your consumption. So we are talking about these 3 important words: production, distribution. Now production means what? Now what we are talking about? Like what to produce and what is all about this production. Let us just try to understand this word production. I hope till this much it is clear that what we are actually into, because the subject may be a little bit new for you, but please try to analyze. It is a very analytical subject and it's a very logical subject, because I told you understanding economics is understanding your own self. Your own self means how you are going to, even making logical decisions is based upon the study of economics. Okay, therefore today we have very big economists in our country and outside country who are able to run the entire economy because of their tactical or logical mindset. So that comes to the study. Okay, let us try to understand what we are saying as production. So I told you there are 3 important words. One is production, one is distribution, and consumption. Is it clear? So when we are talking about economics, as I told you, economics, please try to understand the definition. Economics is a social science of studying the production, distribution, and consumptions of goods and services. Okay, and it is a complex. We also say that economics is a complex science. Now why complex? See, 2 words have come up. One is saying that economics is a social science. Okay, one we have already come across a word, that is social, and another is here complex. Now as I told you, why we are considering economics as a social science, because it deals with individuals, deals with the society, deals with different aspects which is near, like economics starts with our home, then society, then is the market, and then is the global economy. So it is known as a social science. Now why it is complex? So definitely this question comes to our mind. So definitely economics is a complex science, because I told you that already resources are very scarce. And you will see it happens that resources are slowly and day by day resources are now decreasing, or they are not available in the nature or in the open environment. But still we have to see how to make use of those scarce resources, because wants are unlimited. See, remember, resources are scarce. Okay, whatever is, like see now even to, just I was going through a particular message in Facebook that in some countries, if you want to breathe also, you have to pay and you have to breathe. Like they have made arrangements that you have to enter a room where there will be plenty of oxygen available. You have to pay some dollars. You can comfortably sit there for 1 hour, 2 hours. So depending upon how many hours you are spending in that room to breathe in free oxygen. Free means without any kind of impurities. That is free. And people are paying. So you see, even oxygen which is plentifully available in the air, now we have to pay for it. So now the situation has come like this because the environment is getting highly polluted. So already resources are very scarce and they are decreasing. But one thing you remember, human wants are not decreasing. Human wants are multiplying and they are increasing day by day. And people are not getting satisfaction. For example, if you have one t-shirt, you definitely want another one. Yes or no? If you have two t-shirts, you're looking for another two or three because you see your friends are wearing good t-shirts. So you also demand from your parents that let me have some good branded t-shirts. Then you have five in your cupboard, you see no, five is not okay, let me get some more. So even if your cupboard is entirely full with your t-shirts and jeans, still you are not happy because you are looking for some more. Yes or no? So this is the human tendency, this is our psychology, that our wants are increasing. Our wants are not decreasing. Resources are decreasing, resources are becoming scarce, but we are looking for how to satisfy the wants with this limited resources. Because if we are not satisfying the wants, we will not get the pleasure or the delight. And unless we are satisfied, we will not feel happy about it. If you are not happy, you cannot work. Please remember, if you are not happy, suppose today you are not happy, then you will not feel like doing anything. It happens. Sometimes the mood is not good. Or sometimes early morning you had a fight with your brother, sister. Or early morning your mother scolded you. So whole day goes waste. Yes or no? Because you are not in a mood to do anything. Now coming to production, when we are talking that economic subject, as I told you, social science, studying production, distribution and consumption of goods and services, and it considers how the society gets the benefit at the end. Like society, when you are talking about society, we can talk about the immediate society where we are staying, and society as a large means the nation, or we are talking about the international market or the international global market. So when we are saying that this entire three concepts like production, distribution and consumptions play a very vital role in the subject. Now here first thing is, what is this production? What we are talking about production. Now I will give you one simple example to make it more clear. Now take for example the essentials that we are using day to day. For example, let me talk about a normal water bottle, a plastic bottle. Okay. Now plastic bottle is a very essential. See, although we are saying say no to plastics. You know, recently it was there that you have to avoid plastics. If you remember, Modi Sarkar, he had two things in mind. One is Swachh Bharat Abhijan, which he has started, and he wants that entire country should be free from dust pollution. But how many of us are doing that is again a big question mark. See, I remember when this Swachh Bharat Abhijan came newly, everybody was interested in cleaning the environment, society, college, institution. But day by day, people have come back to the old habits. They keep their houses clean, but throw everything outside. So that is not Swachh Bharat Abhijan. Okay. So again, he said that we will not use plastic because plastics are harmful to the body or harmful to us. Now I am considering a simple plastic bottle. This plastic bottle is again manufactured in a factory or company. Okay. There is a process of manufacturing. So we are not going to discuss what is the process, but I am telling you, suppose the manufacturing of the plastic bottles takes place in a particular factory or say industry. Okay, now this manufacturing process, starting from hiring of raw materials up to the finished product, is your entire production process, and at the end of the production process, we get the final output or outcome. What is the final output or outcome? That is the final product. Okay, maybe a plastic bottle, maybe a pen, maybe anything, or maybe we'll talk about the eatables, whatever may be. So in the production process, we have input, processing and output system. What is input? Input is the raw material. What kind of raw materials are you? Suppose we are talking of, say for example, we can take example of a garment industry. Okay. Now garment industry which is manufactured, say for example your branded shirts, Allen Solly, there are so many branded shirts. Now when a company is into the manufacturing of a branded shirt, so definitely first thing point is getting of raw materials. Now from where to hire the raw materials? See, remember, if the input is quality, output will be quality. Okay. How? Now for this also I'll give you one example. Suppose today is Sunday and you have planned to make mutton curry in your house. Because mutton is favorite for everyone. Okay. So for that your mutton should be good. Okay. Suppose you get mutton from a shop which is not good, not like so quality type. But you have spent lot of time. You have put the best materials, oil, masala and everything. And it was cooked, everything. But still the taste couldn't come. Why? The reason is input was not quality. Is it? Okay. So input if is not quality, how much processing you do, output or the final product will not be qualitative. So similarly, when we are talking that production as a part of economical activity, when we are talking about production, maybe of goods and services. Now, first let me tell you what is the difference between goods and services. Okay. Because these are two very important terms which we'll come across time and again when we are going to deeper into the concept. Now goods means here we are talking about the finished goods. Okay. Like goods means I can give you examples like different kinds of products that is already available in the market which we can see, feel. As I told you, your plastic bottles, your garments, okay, your eatables. So all this will come under goods. And when we are getting the goods from the market, we are paying for it. Yes or no? Suppose I am interested to take biscuit. I have to pay 10 rupees or I have to pay 20 rupees. I buy that biscuit and I enjoy it. So these are goods. But there are some services which are available in the market for which again we have to pay to get the benefit. Now what kind of services? Say for example, banking is a service. Okay. Hospital is a service. Your hotels, parlors, okay, these are service oriented. So here also you are paying a particular amount to get that benefit. So all are not goods in the market. Please remember, in the market we are having two different kinds of commodities or two different kind of benefits, I can say, two different kind of benefits which we can enjoy by paying. One is your goods and one is the services. Services may be banking services, your hospital, your hotel. Suppose today I am not interested to cook at home. I am very much tired. So I want to go to a hotel and enjoy some good food. But when I am visiting any hotel, maybe XYZ hotel, but I have to make some payment. I cannot eat free, no. So they are not into social service. I have to pay. So maybe I am paying 500 rupees and enjoying food over there. So that is comes under service. Similarly, when I visit a bank and I have to open an account or I have to do some deposits or I have to do some insurance, whatever, again I have to pay something for the services. Similarly, hospital. Suppose I am going for a normal checkup also, I have to minimum pay 100 rupees or 50 rupees. Suppose I go to medical, 100 or 200 rupees, or suppose I go to a private doctor, I have to pay 200 to 500 rupees. Okay, so we are discussing that the entire economics rests on the process of production, distribution and consumption of goods and services. Goods are, please keep in mind that goods are something which we can directly buy and we can feel, see, know the quality, but services are something abstract. Services means here also you are going to pay and enjoy the services. Like I told you about hospitals, banking, hotels, parlor. There are so many services which is already available in the society. So coming to the production part, now when we are talking about production, I told you production we have to concentrate on the input or the raw material so that the final outcome of the production should be qualitative base. Okay, till here I think it is clear. So the activity of economics starts with the first process, that is production. What is production? Using the available resources and using the quality inputs, we have to produce or manufacture the best quality product. Suppose you are talking about a product, say for example a marker pen also. There are hundreds of marker pen available in the market with different brands. Now see, this marker pen is having a brand name, Cello. So why I am going for a Cello marker pen? Because it is having some unique quality. There are other marker pens also available. Maybe here the cost is 30 rupees, but there are some marker pens available where the cost is 10 rupees or say 20 rupees. So why can't I get those 10 or 20 rupees? I can have it. But if I am quality conscious, I'll pay another 10 rupees more to use this product because I feel this pen gives me better satisfaction when I use it. Okay, so your product should be quality one so that people will enjoy or they will avail the best out of it. See, we are talking about that in economics, sources are very scarce, wants are unlimited, but we have to give maximum benefit out of it. Now see, sometimes you must be going to a cinema hall to watch a movie. For how many hours you watch the movie? Maybe 2 hours, 2.5 hours or 3 hours. Okay. Those 2-3 hours what you watch your movie, suppose you watch a adventurous movie or you watch a mythological movie, whatever may be the nature of the movie. But those 3 hours you feel that I have seen now the tickets cost have also rise. It is not 20 rupees, 30 rupees. It is minimum 100, 200. Yes or no? Those days are gone when we used to pay 50 rupees or 20 rupees for a cinema ticket. Now it is not less than 20 rupees, 200 rupees. And suppose that cinema is in high demand, the cost of the ticket is also higher. But if I have, suppose I have paid 300 rupees for a movie. So what is my mindset? That I should get the best out of this 300 rupees. Okay. So when I enter the cinema hall, I have a lot of expectation that this movie will give me a lot of entertainment, satisfaction. And if 3 hours you forget everything and you are involved in the movie, then when you come out of the hall, you feel that yes, my 300 rupees were justified. Yes or no? But sometimes it also happens that we pay and we have, suppose I made a wrong decision of moving to a movie which was quite boring. Okay, I couldn't understand. Not understand, didn't enjoy it. So when I come out, when my friends ask me that how was the movie, you say rubbish. I've really wasted my 300 rupees. You say or not? You feel that you have wasted. So similarly, whatever, when we are talking about economic activity also, here also we have to see that how that particular thing is giving maximum benefit to the common people or to the customers with the limited resources and with the limited amount available. So you have to give the best. Each organization or each company is trying to give the best to the customer. So that is how I told you the production process. It starts with availing the raw materials, undergoing a process of processing, and then the final output which is in product or a service. Okay. Now once production process is over, now comes the distribution. See, when a product is completed, is done, it directly, you and I cannot go and buy it directly from the company. Can we? No. Suppose we are talking about a product, say for example, we are talking about a product like, say, we are talking about some books or we are talking about some essential materials for day-to-day use. So that product is already done in the market. But the thing is how it will reach to you, people like you and me, because we are the customers. So next comes the process of distribution. Distribution means it is a channel where the product moves from the source of production to the final customer. Now how it is distributed? There are various channels. Previously what used to happen is that once the product was manufactured, it used to travel through different via media like the distributor, retailer, and finally used to come to our normal shops. Okay. Suppose the product cost is, suppose say for example this one pen, dot pen. Okay. The production cost of dot pen is rupees 10. Manufacturing cost is rupees 10. I am talking about production. But by the time it has reached the customer, now it becomes rupees 15. Now why? What is the difference in this? Why 5 rupees more? The reason was when the product was manufactured, it has to move to different channels. That is known as the process of distribution. Okay. And it has to reach customers. Like in between, who is there? Distributor is there. Retailer is there. So at every point of time there is some amount expended. And finally when it reaches the customer, like finally when it comes to a nearby shops, the price of the pen becomes 15 rupees. Now who is going to pay the 15 rupees? Who is going to pay? We are going to pay, because if I am interested to buy this pen, I have to pay 15 rupees, not 10 rupees. 10 rupees is the cost of production. But I have, as a customer, I am taking the burden of paying 15 rupees towards the entire distribution cost, and after paying 15 rupees, I am getting the pen. But now things are little bit more comfortable because we are not going to pay excess money for, because now due to GST concept. Okay, so the via media is not there. So we are only going to pay tax at one point, and nowadays what happens is whatever extra cost we are paying for distribution, all these things are now avoided. So we are getting the product directly at one particular point. So we need not go to various via media. Okay, so that is what happens. Now production is over, product is prepared. Now through this channel of distribution, it reaches to whom? It reaches to the customer. Who is a customer? Customer is people like you and me who are interested to buy a product. See, in the market there are hundreds of products available in hundreds of ways. But if I am interested, then only I am going to pay and buy the product. Okay. Now, when I am buying the product, see there are two things. Buying the product and using the product. These are two important concepts which you have to know. Buying the product and using the product. Okay. The buying the product means what? You have bought a particular product, but it is not as important that you have used it. Maybe you have bought the product for your friend, or you have bought the product for a family member, or you have bought the product for somebody else. So you have, as a customer only, you have paid say 20 rupees or 30 rupees and you have just got the product. So you are only a customer. Here you are not a consumer. Okay. Who is a consumer? A person who actually uses the product and draws benefit out of it, then only he is a consumer. Then only we can say that the particular product has been consumed. Okay, for example, suppose I go to the market and I am interested to have some coffee. I am very fond of coffee. So I get a sachet of Nescafe. Okay, come home, prepare coffee and have it. And I feel satisfied with the taste, flavor. So I have consumed the coffee. So process of consumption is taken place and I am happy with the flavor, taste. So next time when I go to market, I'll definitely look for again what? Nescafe brand, because I feel that Nescafe brand has given me lot of satisfaction. Is it clear? So the entire economic activity revolves around these three words, that is production, distribution and consumption. If after consumption the person is satisfied, customer is satisfied or the consumer is satisfied, definitely what will happen next? Demand will increase. Yes or no? Suppose people in the market, like you see, I have marked that especially those products which are we consuming as food and beverages, if we are satisfied, then we always try to stick to that particular brand only. For example, suppose we are interested to have tea and I am interested in Tata tea only and I like the flavor. So every time I will go to buy a Tata tea. I will not go for any other tea. Suppose the cost is little bit higher also, I am ready to pay because I know the taste of this particular flavor is better. Like I was saying about Nescafe. If I like Nescafe, I will go for Nescafe again and again. So if I am going for the same product and brand again and again, automatically the demand increases. The demand increases means again production is more. Then automatically distribution, then consumption. So this is a rotating cycle. Is it clear? So when we are discussing about the idea of economics, here we have to keep in mind that the entire economic activity, whether in a society or in a larger global economy, is talking about these three words only: distribution, production, distribution, consumption of goods and services. Maybe we are talking about goods which are directly available, which we can use, or we are talking about services where we are enjoying or getting the benefit. But whatever it may be, we have to pay for it. Even if you want to enjoy the goods, you have to make some payments. When you are talking about services, there also we are going to pay and enjoy the services. Okay. So this is how I am trying to just make you little bit more comfortable with the concept of economics, where these, remember in your back of your mind that we are talking about, in economics we are talking about a business activity, or we are talking about an activity where these three things are highly essential. That is production, distribution, consumption of goods and services. And why we are discussing is this, because these, through consumption, which is the last step, you are going to get some benefit. Who is going to get? The customers. And once the customers are getting the benefit, then automatically the production demand is more, production is more, again the cycle revolves and the economy slowly grows. Is it clear? So everywhere you see, whether in a society, whether in a large scale, like later on we will be discussing the concept of micro and macro, they are also explaining that how this activity is done in a smaller way and how this activity is done in a more larger way. So that is the micro and macro. Is it clear? So let me little bit brief you like what we discussed now. Okay. So we have tried to understand what is economics by, okay, what is the concept. We'll go deeper into the concept, but in today's class I have tried my best to make you more comfortable with the term what is economics. Like economics is something where, and remember that the word economics has taken birth because of one particular word, that is wants, as I told you. Wants. Whose want? Human wants. Human wants are unlimited and they need to be satisfied. Therefore today you and I are going through the subject of economics. And this has to be satisfied through the entire activity, that is your production, distribution and consumption. And second most important thing is resources are very scarce. But we have to see that how each one is getting benefit. Like for example, suppose today when you go back home, you find that in your fridge there is only 4 gulab jamun. But you are 8 members. Now how to have it? Like suppose each one has one, like 4 will have, another 4 people will not have. So that is not justice. So what to do? What you do is that 4 gulab jamuns you divide into 2. It becomes 8 pieces. So everybody gets little bit. Everybody enjoys that sweet and everybody is not highly satisfied, but there is some degree of satisfaction. So that is how we are talking about the economics. Resources are scarce, but we have to see that how each one is getting satisfaction or benefit out of those resources. Okay. And another definition also says that economics studies how individuals, business, governments and nations can allocate the resources. Okay, allocation means distribution. How the resources could be allocated or distributed which are already limited. Okay, I gave you my example that my salary is 50,000 rupees, which is a limited amount. It is fixed to 50,000 rupees, cannot be 55 or cannot be 49. So that 50,000 only I have to allocate in different ways so that I am getting the maximum satisfaction from my salary. As I told you, I have to pay for house rent. Say my house rent is 10,000 rupees. So 10 is gone. How much is left? 40,000. Again 5,000 pay for grocery. How much is left? Another 35. So like this I have to plan that with this available resources how I will get the satisfaction. So the economics definition also says that it is how individual, business, government and the nation are allocating the resources. Why they are allocating? Because they want to satisfy the needs and wants of every individual, maybe in the society or maybe in the global front. And they are trying to determine how each one will get the satisfaction or the maximum output from this available resources. Is it clear? And it is essentially a study. If you see that the broader aspect of the subject is, this subject actually deals with how to use the resources in limited way or under constraint. Resources are limited, constraints are there, but how I will get the maximum. Suppose for example, you are going to, now see now internet net facility is available in a mobile. But you imagine when it was not like that. People used to visit a net parlor. Yes or no? For 1 hour they used to pay 10 rupees or 20 rupees. So suppose you are given a chance, okay, today you are allowed to visit a net parlor for 2 hours. Now 2 hours, what is the mindset is that in this 2 hours, let me get the maximum. If I am sitting for 2 hours in net parlor and I am paying rupees 20, means I should make the maximum utilization of these 2 hours. Yes or no? So similarly, economics also tells us or gives us an idea that resources are limited. There are number of constraints. Constraints means hurdles or challenges. But still then we have to get benefit out of it. So how you do that is your logical decision. Is it clear? Like I told you, you have beginning, you have 1,000. Suppose you have 1,000 as your pocket money you're getting from your parents, and this month you have your friend's birthday, who is a very close friend. So definitely you're going to give some gifts. Because you are going to attend the party also, no? So without gifts, how you will attend the party? So you have to again sacrifice some amount from that 1,000 rupees for the gift. Suppose you sacrifice 300 rupees and you buy a gift for your friend. Now left is 700 rupees. Now you have to think that with the 700 rupees only I have to what? Sustain the entire month, because parents won't give me extra money for this month. So that is how the economic activity is. Our resources, which we are talking about, resources which is in the environment or which is in the natural way, they are very less, very scarce. Wants are increasing. See, you imagine the situation. Resources is scarce, wants are unlimited, but each one wants to get the benefit. So how? So that only government, even private sectors, individuals and each company are trying their best that how these resources can be best used or best used in the process of production. They can be properly distributed so that they reach finally the customers and who can consume the product and get the best satisfaction or outcome or output of it. So we are talking about optimum utilization of rare or scarce resources which are very less available. Is it clear? So that is how the entire discussion of economics rests on the simple concept of scarce resources, then production, then we have the end is the consumer who has to consume, and our target is how people will be getting the maximum satisfaction. Because see, if a person is not satisfied, definitely he or she will not go for the product or service again. Then it is going to hamper the market. It's going to hamper your brand. It is going to hamper your name. So you have to give the best to the people. Maybe it is an educational institution as a service industry, or maybe I told you about banking industry, hospitals, hotels, parlors. Okay. Even if you go to hotel, you see how people greet you. They have a very different kind of approach. Even the receptionist who is receiving you at the beginning of the hotel, that person will be always smiling. Why? Because they want to give the maximum satisfaction to customers and they will give you the best service. So that next time when you think of having food, you will come back to the same hotel. Because you are satisfied, you are happy with the service, you are happy with the quality of food. So next time when you have a plan to come, you will definitely remember, no, let me go to that hotel because I was satisfied. Same way happens for hotels, hospitals and everything. Therefore, these service sectors are very essential and they should be service oriented. Otherwise, people will not stay. Because hotels means, if you see in Berhampur only, there may be some hundreds or 200 hotels. But all hotels are not running in the same way. People are only remembering, even I remember only 1 or 2 or maximum 3 hotels, because why I remember is service is good, quality of food is good. Okay, so that is how you have to produce, distribute and consume the goods and services to give the best and to see that people are highly satisfied. Is it clear? So this is the, I told you a little bit in nutshell that what economics is all about. But we have the other concepts which we will be dealing or we will be discussing in detail. Then come to the last class, just I will brush you that why economics is important. As I told you that if you are understanding economics, you will be what? You will be have a logical mindset to make your decisions in a more logical way. Because you know this subject. So as I told you, I have this much amount, how I am going to spend, or I have little resources. Now for example, suppose you have a little bit of something, but you know you have to manage many things. No, economics teaches you, or economics gives you an idea that within that resource how to allocate. Even the resources what we are talking about, say mineral resources, other resources, they are very limited. But the government knows how to allocate it in a proper way so that everyone is getting the benefit. Okay, so economics is a subject where you learn how to make a logical decision. Then you understand the basic business activity which is going on in the market. As I told you, activity can be anything. Like you see nearby, suppose you have a small shop near a house which is making breakfast every day. From there also you have to learn many things. And they are also into a business activity, because there is also process of production is going on. They are distributing food, people are coming, consuming the food, there is some degree of satisfaction. So business, you are able to know the business activity that happens near you, near your society, the nation. Second, you are able to make some logical decisions. Then you are able to know some of the very important terms and the concepts of economics. Then economic helps you also how to understand the concept of rationality in the market. Rationality is making like, rationality is something very genuine. Like this concept, I'll tell you a little bit more deeper, like what is rationality. Rationality means something which is very genuine and logical. Sometimes we say no, your decision is very irrational. Irrational means something without any logic, without any base. So rationality means something having some logic, some ground is there. Okay. Then it also helps you to understand some of the important tools of economics. So by studying this subject, we'll be understanding the business activity, how the business activity works, how it runs, how people get the benefit, how the scarce resources are used, in what way they are used, whether the customers are getting benefit or not, and how you can give them the maximum satisfaction. Therefore, you see many shops, they are having offers. Yes or no? You'll see like Big Bazaar has Wednesday offer, Friday offer. Why they are giving offers? Because they want to give maximum satisfaction to the customers. Sometimes you see offers that they buy two get one free, or buy one get one free. Okay. So these are some lucrative measures, or you can say strategies, attractive strategies to make the customers like attract towards them and give them the best satisfaction. Is it clear? So next class we will be studying in details. So at the end I would like to say that the aim of studying economics is to understand the decision making process, okay, and allocation of the resources which are very scanty or very less, and how to satisfy the human wants utilizing these scarce resources. Is it clear? So keep in mind that when the word economics comes to your mind, keep in mind that economics starts with the word wants, human wants, which are unlimited, but wants has to be satisfied. So we are trying to understand that within the limited resources, how they can be allocated. Allocation means distributed in the best possible way, so that each one is getting satisfaction or each one is getting the benefit out of it. So entire, if we talk about economics, whether it is in a society or nation or the world, the concept is same for all. We have less resources, but we want to give the maximum benefit, or we want to give the maximum satisfaction to the people. So this is what about the economics definition or understanding of the subject economics. So once you are through this subject, you will have a very clear idea of spending, very clear about even investment. Even investing money is also a part of economics. Even as I told you, employment generation, concept like employment, unemployment, investment of money, everything comes into the subject of economics. Okay, and it is a very broad subject. It encompasses everything. Like lots of concepts and lots of ideas are being discussed in this subject. So next class I hope that will be little bit brushing up what is economics, and then we'll get back to the concepts in a more deeper way. Okay, thank you.